West Virginia wants you to work remotely from inside the confines of its outdoor recreation-friendly state. Today, West Virginia officials announced a new remote worker program that, among other things, offers a $12,000 incentive to people for moving to the state. The program is being made possible thanks to a $25 million donation from Intuit's executive chairman, Brad D. Smith, and his wife, Elise. Brad D. Smith joins us for a Yahoo Finance exclusive right now. Brad, good to see you this morning here. $25 million. That's a very large donation. Why are you making this pledge?
Ryan, it's good to see you as well. And I can start by saying because everything that we've ever achieved in our lives is because someone in West Virginia saw something in us and invested in us. So this is our chance to pay it forward.
So, Brad, part of this, I imagine, is that you still see people working from home after the pandemic. We've talked to a lot of executives. Some see them returning back to headquarters, others not so much. Where do you stand?
Well, I have the opportunity to spend a lot of time speaking with my peers, both in the industry in the Silicon Valley, as well as across the world. And most are looking at a hybrid model, but many of them, if not all of them, have expanded the percentage of their workforce that can work full-time remotely. Going into the pandemic, the numbers suggested roughly 4 million people in the United States were able to live anywhere they wanted and do their jobs. Coming out, that estimate is somewhere between 37 to 47%. So there's going to be a large number of people who can live anywhere they want and do their job. And we think West Virginia is the perfect place for them to choose.
And, Brad, thinking about those conversations with your peers, is it going to be a competitive disadvantage if you're an employer in the future who mandates that everybody work, from some nice office park somewhere in Northern California? We have a big facility out there. Many other companies do. Is that going to be the new normal, on the other side of this, where you don't really have the juice or the leverage as an employer to say, no, you have to be here. You can't go, where you want to live, where your family is already located.
Well, I do believe it's going to be a part of the consideration set. I think we've seen the pendulum swing all the way to the right when everyone had to come to the office, then all the way to the left when everyone was forced to shelter in place. And somewhere in the middle, we'll all be experimenting in the next year or so to say, where is that sweet spot? But I do know that employees now have gotten a taste for what it's like to be able to live in a new area where they have less commute time, they have a lower cost of living, they have access to outdoor amenities like West Virginia has to offer. And I think that is absolutely going to become a part of the consideration set in this war on talent.
Yeah, Brad, I imagine this is going to really increase the war on talent. I don't see New York City doing this. What do you think that will mean for just the bottom lines of corporate America?
Well, I think there's a benefit because first and foremost, when you look at employees and employee engagement and productivity, they do better work when they're happier in their surroundings. And the studies suggest that about a third of people living in major metropolitan areas want to seek a rural destination. In fact, the new geographic preference is rural is the new urban. And if you think about a place like West Virginia, you have an amazing access to whitewater rapids and to snow skiing and to rock climbing and to trails and to mountain biking. You can live in these communities that look like right out of Hallmark, and they're 16% less expensive than the U.S. average. And so employees want to seek those kinds of opportunities. And places like major metropolitan areas like New York and San Francisco and L.A., they're going to have to deal with how do they balance that equation.
So, Brett, I have to ask, what are the tax implications if I were to up and leave New York City, go to West Virginia, take the grant to go along with that? What are maybe some of the issues that someone might face with that, and how does that factor into this program?
Well, it's a two-part answer. I think first and foremost, the state taxes in West Virginia compare very favorably to the situation you just suggested with New York. But then secondarily, we have an unparalleled alignment of interests in West Virginia right now. Our federal, state, and local elected officials are working across the aisle to make the state incredibly competitive. And they just passed some state tax laws to make it favorable for remote workers to live in West Virginia. So it only keeps getting better in the situation with West Virginia.
Brad, I can't think of anyone else better to ask than you about taxes. As executive chairman of Intuit and former longtime CEO, can corporate America be globally competitive at a 28% tax rate?
That question, I believe, is one that's going to have to get sorted out. I can say this. I believe that we have opportunity to continue to look for where the right sweet spot is for corporate taxes while still making sure we invest in our infrastructure. The question is that 21%? Is it 23? Is it 25? Is it 28? I think CEOs and chairmen and women across the country are weighing in on that debate as we speak. I'll leave that to the legislators to make the decision. We at Intuit administer the taxes. We don't actually create the tax policy.
Fair enough. Brad Smith, Executive Chairman at Intuit. Good to see you.